The Bailiwick of Guernsey is a crown dependency of the United Kingdom, ruled by the Crown in right of the Bailiwick of Guernsey, created over 700 years ago. The Bailiwick comprises a number of islands in the English Channel which fall into three separate jurisdictions: Guernsey, Alderney and Sark. A bailiwick is a territory administered by a bailiff. The Bailiff of Guernsey is the civil head and presiding officer of the States of Guernsey, but not of Alderney and Sark. He is the head of the judiciary of the bailiwick. History. The history of the Bailiwick of Guernsey goes back to 933, when the islands came under the control of William Longsword, having been annexed from the Duchy of Brittany by the Duchy of Normandy. The island of Guernsey and the other Channel Islands formed part of the lands of William the Conqueror. In 1204 France conquered mainland Normandy, but not the offshore islands of the bailiwick. The islands represent the last remnants of the medieval Duchy of Normandy. Initially there was one governor, or co-governors working together, of the islands making up the Channel Islands. The title governor has changed over the centuries. Warden, keeper, and captain have previously been used. The bailiff stands in for the governor, or more recently the lieutenant governor, if the latter is absent for a short term or for longer. For instance, during the 5 years of the German occupation of the Channel Islands, the lieutenant governor of Guernsey is the lieutenant governor of the Bailiwick of Guernsey, and being the personal representative of Her Majesty, has usually had a distinguished military service. Originally the local courts in Guernsey were fiefs, with the lord of the manor presiding. Before 1066, a superior court was introduced above the fiefs and below the eschequier court in Rouen, and comprised the bailiff and 4 knights. The court heard appeals and tried criminal cases. Otten, the grandson, then the governor of the islands, delegated the civil powers to 2 separate bailiffs for Guernsey and Jersey before he went on the Second Crusade to the Holy Land in 1290. This can be assessed as the date of first creation of the 2 bailiwicks. Geography. Situated around 49.583 degrees north, 2.333 degrees west, 49.583 minus 2.333, Alderney, Guernsey, Sark, and some other smaller islands together have a total area of 78 square kilometers and coastlines of about 50 kilometers. Elevation varies from sea level to 114 meters at Le Moulin-on-Sark. There are many smaller islands, islets, rocks and reefs in the bailiwick, combined with a tidal range of 10 meters and fast currents of up to 12 knots. This makes sailing in local waters dangerous. Loyalty. Queen Elizabeth II is the head of state of the bailiwick, ruling by right of the Crown in right of the Republic of the Bailiwick of Guernsey. The British monarchy apparently relinquished claims to continental mainland Normandy, and other French claims including the ducal title. In the Treaty of Paris, although monarchs have often been referred to informally by the title Duke of Normandy, the 1259 treaty confirmed that the islands were held by the King of England in fief to the King of France, owing homage to France. In 1360 this changed when the King of France abandoned this right of suzerainty, owing loyalty to the British Crown, not the UK Parliament at Westminster. The Bailiwick of Guernsey is a Crown dependency. Independence. The Bailiwick of Guernsey is not a jurisdiction in itself, but a collection of 3 jurisdictions. It does not form part of, and is independent of, the United Kingdom. The Bailiwick of Jersey is a separate jurisdiction, and the 2 bailiwicks together make up the Channel Islands. People in the Bailiwick of Guernsey have never been represented in the UK Parliament, nor in the European Parliament. Islanders did not have a vote in 2016. 2016 in Brexit. A unique constitutional position has arisen as successive British monarchs have confirmed the liberties and privileges of the bailiwick, often referring to the so-called constitutions of King John, a legendary document supposed to have been granted by King John in the aftermath of 1204. Governments of the bailiwick have generally tried to avoid testing the limits of the unwritten constitution by avoiding conflict with British governments. Jurisdictions. Each jurisdiction has inhabited and uninhabited islands and its own elected government. All three legal jurisdictions need royal assent from the Privy Council on its primary legislation. Each jurisdiction raises its own taxation, although in 1949 Alderney transferred its rights to Guernsey. Guernsey, the island of Guernsey, has a population of around 63,024 square miles and forms the legal and administrative centre of the Bailiwick of Guernsey, the Parliament of Guernsey, and of the nearby inhabited islands of Herm, Jethou and Liu is the States of Guernsey. Alderney, with a population of around 1,903 square miles. Alderney has its own parliament, the States of Alderney, which has 10 elected members and an elected president. From 1612 Alderney had a judge appointed, with similar judicial powers to a bailiff, but on the 1st of January 1949 the island adopted a new constitution, giving up some independence, moving closer to Guernsey and confirming that it is part of the Bailiwick of Guernsey. Sark has a population of around 600 who live in 2 square miles. Its parliament is the Chief Pleas of Sark, with 28 elected members. In 1565, Helier de Carteret, Seigneur of Saint-Ouen in Jersey, was granted the fief of Sark by Queen Elizabeth I. He received letters patent granting him Sark in perpetuity, on condition that he kept the island free of pirates and that the island was occupied by at least 40 men to defend it. Despite most families coming from Jersey, Sark remained within the Bailiwick of Guernsey. Recognition. There is no flag or coat of arms for the Bailiwick of Guernsey. In historic times, the governor would have used his personal symbols before a generic flag for use by the governor was created. In 1279, Edward I granted a seal for use in the Channel Islands. In 1304 separate seals were provided to Jersey and Guernsey. The provision of separate seals is one of the earliest indications of the separate identity and personality of the two bailiwicks. The seal comprised 3 leopards, a symbol taken from the original arms of the Duchy of Normandy. The Bailiwick of Guernsey is represented at the United Nations by the United Kingdom, which is responsible for the defence of the bailiwick. The United Kingdom provides the Bailiwick of Guernsey with international representation. While not a member of the European Union, the bailiwick has a special relationship with it, under Protocol 3 of the UK's Treaty of Accession 1972 to the European Community. Pooling resources with Jersey, the bailiwick established in 2010 an office in Brussels to develop the Channel Islands' influence with the EU, to advise the Channel Islands governments on European matters, and to promote economic links with the EU. While not a member of the Commonwealth of Nations, the Bailiwick of Guernsey is a member of the Commonwealth Games Federation and competes in the Commonwealth Games. The Bailiwick of Guernsey is a member of the British Irish Council, represented by the Chief Minister of Guernsey.